Done. Good morning to all of you. This is Preeti Sagar and welcome back to Current Affairs session. So today I'm going to take some important topics and I'll start with the topic which we left out in the last week's session. So I'll start with the Quad, the discussion on Quad, and the summit has concluded. Thank you so much. So summit has been concluded and India has got many new things. Some new discussions has been taken, some new viewpoints has been given to these countries, and a policy has been framed out. In the future, we can see some policies will be coming out, or a policy framework will be there. So Quad is very important because we are seeing in the changing global scenario, or you can say Asian politics and world politics. In that situation, and the ongoing China's tussle with many countries like USA, India, and Southeast Asian nations. So in this scenario, in this background, Quad becomes very, very important. We have seen such scenarios, and we have seen the discussion on Malabar. We had done that in this session, Malabar exercise, in which Australia was invited to be part of that. Discussion was going on last year. Then this year, Australia became part of that. Then it was said that this Malabar exercise was nothing just, but was what? But was militarization of Quad. Okay, Quad is what? Quad is just a diplomatic platform where diplomats of these countries, the member countries, they come, they discuss on some common topics or common viewpoints they share, and they share their policies, what they are going to do on such matters. Okay, so here what happened on 12th of March, this meeting has been held between 4 members, that is Australia, India, Japan, and USA. So that was a moment which is defining the Asian geopolitics. Okay, Asian geopolitics. Now, you need to understand the term Asian geopolitics. What is the meaning of that? Any idea what it is talking about? Basically, what happens, we are moving towards a multilateral world. Earlier, it was unipolar world, then it converted into bipolar world, then again it converted into unipolar world. But now we are seeing that relevance or the power of unipolar or bipolar world, that is diminishing. Bipolar se though it converted into unipolar, but in these scenario, the today's scenario, we are seeing that many countries, they are facing so many issues regarding its economy, regarding its politics, regarding assertiveness. So in that situation, in that scenario, what happens? Many countries like India, China, South Korea, they have aspiration to grow more. Japan, in fact. So if these countries have such capabilities, then in this scenario, unipolarity does not have any relevance. And in that scenario, what happens? Multipolarity we are moving towards. And in this multipolarity, what happens? All such aspiring countries, they get such a platform where they can come, they can share, they can show their potentiality. Okay, so Quad becomes very important here. And in this scenario, as I've said the term Asian geopolitics. So here Asia, because Asia, if you see continents, America, South America, Africa, Asia. So America का जो comparison है, हम किससे कर सकते हैं? That is with Asian countries. जहाँ पे China is there, South Korea, Japan, Southeast Asian nations, very important, India. So these countries are having many potentials, whether they can come alone, they can come before the world, or they can come together. So in that situation, we have seen many of the organizations like SEO is there, BRICS is there, then this Quad is there. So here Quad is representing Asian geopolitics, and in this situation, we can see that it is representing what? It is representing Indo-Pacific littoral. Indo-Pacific, it means the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So from Djibouti to Hawaii Island, okay, which comes under USA's control. So from Djibouti to Hawaii, it is having its influence or relevance. So all such areas between Indian Ocean and Pacific Oceans that represent the Quad, representation to the world, okay, or presence to the world. Okay, so here you can see the map, the Quad, diamond shape, quadrilateral relationship had been established in the Indo-Pacific littorals. Okay, so this meeting, it was at its highest political level, occasioned with the productive dialogue, and it concluded with a substantive joint statement that is indicative of its immediate significance. So some significance are also there. Why it was there, why, what is the relevance of that? I will share another PPT as well, just to go with its what's a background. So let me share that PPT also. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Yeah. So before going on the present scenario, I'll discuss about its background. Quad is there, but there must be some point of time when this has been formed. So basically, Quad, it was not a diplomatic platform. Basically, what happened in 2004, tsunami struck Indian Ocean coast. है ना? You must be remember that scenario, tsunami. So tsunami is what? That is an earthquake that struck underneath the water, okay, in the ocean. So tsunami struck Indian coastal region, and it was very devastating in nature. So in that situation, what happened? A tsunami core group had been created by USA, Japan, India, and Australia. India was a victim of that, and some Southeast Asian nation as well. Japan, it came forward, USA came forward, Australia came forward. So they formed the tsunami core group, and it was what? It was nothing, just an ad hoc group, okay, who responded to that devastating moment. Okay, that was tsunami event of 2004. So it emerged, or it gave a birth to a new type of diplomacy. And this diplomacy that created, or that came forward at the time of such devastative moment. Okay, so that created a new network in the face of the emerging challenge that brought together by these four nations. And these four nations were best equipped with swiftly mobilized tsunami aid. It means these countries, the member countries, they came forward with the aid given to the people who had been affected of tsunami. Okay, so that cooperation provided the basis for first iteration of Quad. It means that was the first moment when world saw that these countries may come up together. So that was the first iteration of this quadrilateral meeting. Okay, but it was not a formal meeting. It was not a formal group. Okay, then in 2004 it happened, it got created. Then again in 2007. So after these many years, they met in 2007 before coming part in 2008. It means that in 2007 they again met, and in 2008 they came as a formal group of quadrilateral security group or members. Okay, so 8 further years of destabilization in the region that led to the growing convergence of foreign policies. It means many countries, they came forward. They some convergence in the foreign policies we saw among these four countries, and with a focus on securing a free and open Indo-Pacific, taking joint action against terrorism, promoting rule-based system. Now here, understand these keywords. Okay, here they came forward to secure a free and open Indo-Pacific. It means this Indo-Pacific region that became a concern for these countries. Okay, in 2008, it was okay. Assertiveness of China, it wasn't there. In fact, these days as well, assertiveness is there, but they did not discuss openly about Chinese issue. But the world, the experts, the leaders, in fact, the intention of Quad, we can see, we can understand that what is the intention, the real intention of Quadrilateral Summit or the meetings or these members. Okay, so that was the time they came up with these many issues, like they wanted to discuss about free and open Indo-Pacific littorals. Then joint action they wanted to take against terrorism. These terrorism that can be in any form, cyber one or piracy, okay, maritime, crime in maritime domain, okay, and a rule-based system, promote a rule-based system. Basically what happens, China is claiming on the east and South China Sea, okay. So there must be a rule, the maritime rule, on which countries can claim that they are having right on these areas in the littorals or in the ocean region. Okay, the exploitation of those ocean resources that lies to so-and-so country. And on what basis? So for that, they wanted to set up a rule-based system. And that is the issue between China and Japan regarding South South China Sea and China and Southeast Asian nations. Okay, so these were the purpose, or these were the objectives of these Quad members, Quad group. So as a result, Quad got its reformation in 2017 and began convening on a bi-monthly basis. Okay, so when these Quad members have been circumspect about the aims and objectives of the grouping, it became one of the important elements in the geopolitical and geo-economic discussions in the Indo-Pacific region. Now, see, it was a diplomatic relationship between these countries, but another, you can say, platform that can be created for these countries is that economic relationship, establishment of economic relationship between these countries. It means trade relations will be set up. So for that, what they will do, they will minimize the cost of transportation. They will establish connectivity between each country so that goods can be transferred easily, whether through maritime route, whether through a multi-mode transport system. Okay, so that can be done. So here it is opening up lots of opportunities for the members. Okay, it is opening up lots of challenges and issues for the countries so that they can meet it up, they can resolve it, they can establish a very swift mode of connectivity. So these region is not only facing an expansionist China, but are also dealing with uncertainty about US-Asia policy and role of Southeast Asian Association, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that is ASEAN countries. So here in the Indo-Pacific littorals, three things are there. Assertiveness of China increased in the form of string of pearls theory. I hope you guys are aware of this string of pearls theory. Then in the form of BRI initiative, Belt and Road initiative, in the form of maritime Silk Road initiative, and in in one of the sessions we discussed about polar Silk Road. Remember, in the polar area, they want China has passed a project to to build a road initiative on the line of BRI to reach in the polar region. So this is what these are assertiveness of China, that it wants to reach out to each and every country of the world in the world politics. It wants to impact. Okay, so so here assertiveness of China became one of the biggest issues by the time of, we reached in 2017 time period. Okay, and there was an uncertainty in USA and Asia politics. Along with that, ASEAN countries, they started emerging. They formed this association of Southeast Asian nations, and together these Southeast Asian nations, they are representing a very good number of population. They are together, they are representing a very good figure of economic collaboration. Okay, so here so these are the reasons which led to the formal creation of Quad group in 2017. Then it's the formation of this Quad group that goes to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Okay, so he played an instrumental role in creating the Quad in 2007, and later on recognized the opportunities that can be afforded by growing expanded regional cooperation that includes East Asia Summit. Okay, India is also part of this East Asia Summit, and here at this platform, at this forum, he discussed the importance of quadrilateral group. Okay, he discussed that there should be presence of these countries in the Indo-Pacific littorals. What are the reasons? So reasons are said. These are China's growing in, assertion. Then economic opportunities, rule-based system. So too many things were there on which Shinzo Abe, he discussed that these like-minded countries should come forward and should give a formal establishment of that tsunami core group into a Quad group. Okay. So by developments in US alliance system and US, Japan, Australia trilateral. Okay, so that was the idea behind this formation of this quadrilateral group. I hope I'm clear. Any doubts are there, you can ask me in between. Okay, now that was the background, that what happened and how it got formed. Then there must be some features, the characteristics features of Quad, why it was very, very important. So there were certain objectives for which this quadrilateral group has been formed. So first characteristic feature is diplomatic. So diplomatic relation became very important to establish between these countries, and that became most significant characteristic of this group. Okay, and that was relatively exclusive and functional as a forum of diplomatic consultation. These diplomatic consultations we have seen that happened in the form of quad, what's say 2+2 dialogue between Quad members, and nowadays a discussion is going on to become Quad plus. It means apart from these Quad countries, there are certain other countries who have potential to become part of this quadrilateral group, and that would be called Quad plus. For example, South Korea. South Korea has potential. This is also a like-minded country of these members. Okay, so in future we can see that Quad may become Quad plus, and a diplomatic platform would be given to these member countries. So Quad meetings since 2017 has been held among diplomats from respective foreign ministries. So as I've said, 2+2 dialogue. So in 2+2 dialogue, the foreign ministries plus defense ministers, they meet. Okay, and they discuss about all such potentialities to come in that may come in future. So they addressed broader agendas in the Indo-Pacific region. There is a high level of policy coordination on number of issues which may impact the rule-based regional order. I hope you are clear what is rule-based regional order. Okay, including maritime security, terrorism, cyber security, and connectivity. I have discussed about these. These are the objectives of Quad group. Okay. Despite some of the Southeast Asian states' concern about their own centrality, Quad is unlikely to replace ASEAN and as an alternative center of regional security cooperation. It means Quad has no intention to replace ASEAN in the Indo-Pacific littoral, but it has their own intention that they want to grow as a bigger one in the Asian geopolitics. Okay, and they can be an alternative. They can emerge as an alternative center of regional security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific littoral. So that was the diplomatic reason, or you can say diplomatic characteristic of the quadrilateral group or security dialogue. Then information sharing. So here, as we know that this group, it represents Indo-Pacific region. So in the Indo-Pacific region, because it is stretched from Djibouti to Hawaii, so such a big distance is there. So in that scenario, what happens? Information sharing becomes very, very important. And information sharing, how it will they will provide that. So they will provide by establishing this relationship by technology transfers. Technology transfers, how it would take place. As I've said, these countries, they held Malabar exercise, and in the Malabar exercise, we'll discuss about that military pacts are there, has been established between these countries, and in those military pacts, there is one thing that is about the technology transfers. It means whatever technologies or superior technologies these countries are having, they will exchange interoperability. And information sharing, why it becomes very important? Because of growing cyber threats, because of growing piracy, maritime security domain to establish. So here in this scenario, information sharing between these countries are very, very important. So these members, major military assets, these are located between Indian Ocean to Western Pacific, as I've said, from Djibouti to Hawaii. So geographical range of this Indo-Pacific region, it provides certain strategic logic in institutionalization of maritime domain awareness. It means the resources this region is having, and significance of this region is that is very important for not only for Asian geopolitics, but for the world politics as well. Okay, so awareness maritime domain awareness and information sharing in this scenario becomes important. So, and another thing is that there are many instances we have seen about attacks on the Coast Guard vessels. And now, for example, we have seen such kind of attacks in the West Asia, the littorals of West Asia. So here it is out of this region, and there are a very tensed situation between West Asia and America, and West Asia and Asia or Asian politics. So so here what they are doing, they are creating such a scenario where security can be provided against these kind of attacks. Okay, then that is clear that these members, they are building information networks with the member countries, Australia, Japan, USA, and India, and they share defense related information through 2016 agreement. So India was never an USA ally. We have seen that when India got independence, India decided to remain non-aligned. It did not get intended towards USA or USSR by that time. Later on, we saw its politics, or because of its economic situation, it get intended towards USSR, but not a formal one, but only in the form of some policies. So, if we talk about USA, so India was never been an ally of USA. Okay, but this platform, it gives such a platform for India to become an ally of USA. And this alliance can be, we can see in the form of diplomatic relations, but not in the form of military relations, as it has been criticized by China. It has been criticized some of the world politics leaders, that this group is what is a Asian NATO. It means a military organization in the form of NATO, and it is an Asian NATO. But this is wrong to say. Why? Because they are having this cooperation, not a relationship. Okay. So that was about its information sharing, why it is important, so that they can prevent such a situation of these many attacks, whether in the form of piracy, in the form of cybersecurity, in the form of attacks on the Coast Guard vessels. So that was important to establish information sharing between these countries. Another is about military cooperation. As I've said, military exercise, the biggest name is Malabar exercise, which has been held between all the four countries. It started as a bilateral exercise. It converted into trilateral exercise. And now it got converted in 2020 as a quadrilateral exercise after joining of Australia. So military military relationship between these countries, if I say, so these are some special measures that has been taken to promote. What are the promotions? Regarding joint exercises, so that they can improve interoperability. Then military technology, as I've said, and defense equipment transfers. It means technology transfers between these member countries. And here, if I say interoperability, it means that these countries are having their presence in the Indo-Pacific littorals. For example, if India's presence is there in the Indian Ocean, USA's presence is there in the Pacific Ocean, Australia's presence is there in the Eastern Indian Ocean. So here, what happens whenever they are patrolling? So if these countries would need each other's help, or need each other's presence in the littoral, then they would be available in the form of technology, in the form of interoperations. Okay, then capacity building of Indo-Pacific regional states. So these regional states, they have some capacity in the form of those resources, on which they are having their rights. So capacity building becomes important here. So these four militaries they are able to improve interoperability, and in this interoperation, what happens? They establish some paths, okay, some agreements on the basis of that. For example, 2016 agreement, or you can say military pact between USA, Japan, and Australia, which gave them access to towards technology transfer between these countries and interoperation. Okay, so mutually they can access to defense technology of each members or each others. Then economic collaboration. So as I've said, that connectivity becomes very important here. Establishment of connectivity so that trades and economic cooperation can become mobilized, and swiftly it can operate. So here, economic aspect of this group, that includes two major things. What are those? First is economic integration, and second is regional connectivity. This regional connectivity, that can be in multiple forms. That may be maritime, that may be road networks, that may be air networks, that may be multi-mode transport system. Multi-mode transport system, for example, we have discussed, I think I have not discussed in this session, but multi-mode transport system, it means what? It means that multiple platforms will be used. Maritime, road networks, railway networks, to reach out or to for the regional connectivity in the simple terms. So economic integration, so as these countries, these are developed and developing countries, so it means together they are representing such a big uh, uh, figure of economic cooperation, or such a big figure of economic collaboration. So here, economic integration to establish between these countries are very important, and regional connectivity, as I've said, that through multi-mode transport system they can establish. So they can establish their trade relationship in this way. Another thing is that to counter China's Belt and Road Initiative. In this, we have seen that under this BRI initiative, China has connected Asia, West Asia, then Central Asia, and so it is reaching towards maritime Silk Road, then Polar Silk Road, as I've said. So to counter China is very important in the Indo-Pacific littorals through Malacca Strait. So that Chinese goods, if they want to transport, or if they want to pass from the Malacca Strait, that can be struck by these countries. Okay, if any situation comes. Okay, so here countering China is another objective in this. Then India's economic growth, as India is looking to improve its economy, and India is seen by these countries as a potential one. Okay, a potential. India is having that potential that it can emerge as a big economy in future. So in this situation, India's economic growth and its strategically essential location, this is very important. So Quad need to prioritize investment in India. It means these Quad countries, they can come forward to invest. And we have seen that India has made FDI norms easier. And in 2020, when world was facing pandemic, then we saw FDI was working very well in India. We have seen foreign investments in multiple sectors. So in this scenario, Quad members' investments in multiple forms can be or can help India in different forms. Okay, so economic cooperation can be established in these many ways to protect themselves, to counter Chinese assertion, and various investment methods. Then, what is the significance of Quad this year's summit? First is that they are having, as I've said, that they have made some policies, some frameworks are there in the mind. So there must be some vision, because they are representing Indo-Pacific, okay, Indo-Pacific littoral. So they have come up with the vision of Indo-Pacific. So in this in this summit, they presented their joint statement regarding to please US and Japan, and that refers to establish a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Okay, free and open. It means there would be no struck by these countries, or if any situation comes, they can counter it. Okay, they can counter the situation. So free to establish free and open Indo-Pacific, and in the next sentence, they are saying that an elaboration of free, open, inclusive, healthy, anchored by democratic values. So these countries, basically, these are what? These are liberals, okay? Democratic setups they are having. India, one of the biggest democracies of the world. USA, that is the first democracy of the world. Australia, it is also going on the democratic lines. Okay, Japan, easiest norms are available for the people. So here they want to anchor democratic values in these regions, Indo-Pacific littorals. They want to establish free, open, inclusive. Inclusive, it means in the form of human resource, in the form of natural resources. Okay, healthy, democratic values, and unconstrained by coercion. So such, if any coercion comes, they can counter it. Okay, so that was the vision of this Quad Summit this year. Then aligned approach of leaders. What are those? So summit leaders, they have secured an adequate alignment of their approach towards China. But here, one more thing is important to know, that they did not mention this objective in the formal way, but their actions, their discussions, that has shown the relevance, that has shown the objective, what they want to do. So their intention, without mentioning China, has been shown that they want to counter China in the Indo-Pacific littorals through striking the ways of Malacca Strait if situation arises. Okay, senior officials, they gave sufficient hints on this score, that reinforced by phrases like security challenges and rule-based maritime order in East and Southeast China, South China Sea. As I've said, I've discussed about this. In the East and South China Sea, China claims its presence. Okay, claims on the resources. So here, Japan is victim of it. ASEAN countries, Philippines, or other countries, so they are victim of this. So here they want to establish a rule-based maritime order. Rule-based maritime order, as we know that in the maritime domain, there is a rule that till 12 nautical miles, countries are having reach on the ocean resources. But here China is claiming on the eastern part and the South China Sea, the entire region. So in that situation, they want to establish a rule-based order. On that basis, countries would have their reach, or would have their rights on the resources of these oceans or water bodies. Then they have preferred a smart blend of competition, cooperation, and confrontation. So these are in the form of various actions. As we have said, confrontation, where the situation arises, then they would come up with such policies. So they have discussed, but policies are yet to come, how they are going to do that. Okay. Then now, another thing is that as world is fighting against COVID-19, so here it becomes very, and we have seen India has emerged as one of those countries who is available with all such vaccinations. Okay, what India has got permission to manufacture in the country. So, and in fact, India has established these kind of relationship with Bangladesh, Bhutan, where it has sent vaccination to these people, to the population of the country. In the Quad Summit, it is also one of the important topic to discuss, that they have discussed on this. Whatever vaccines will be manufactured by 2022, they have some target for the production of 1 billion vaccine doses. So that will be transferred to these countries, the Quad member countries. So here, impacting the mind of people, that is another vision or another significance of Quad Summit 2021. So Quad, that has placed a premium by winning the battle for the hearts and minds of the people in the Indo-Pacific region. And they have this aim or objective to convince these nations of Southeast Asia, Pacific Island, and Indian Ocean region that they are going to establish a benign group, and they are committed towards a solution of COVID-19. Okay, or they will resolve these issues to establish for the establishment of well-being of the people. So how they are going to do that? With the help of some special initiative, where they would provide, or they would ensure equitable access to COVID-19 vaccinations to each and every people of this region. Okay, then this is a doable Um, I'm so sorry, I lost my connection. Let's start it. Yeah. So I was discussing that India has got the chance, India has got the permission to, or a target for the production of 1 billion vaccines, and what other countries will do. USA, Japan, and Australia. So USA and Japan, they will provide logistics for these many productions of the vaccines, and they will provide logistics for the distribution of the vaccines as well. And Australia would provide funding, okay, for the production of vaccination, and India produce it. So this is the vision, so that they can reach to the minds of the people. It means here people's collaboration is very important. So connectivity between people is one of the visions behind that. Okay. So Australia is going to provide, so by this way, India would establish, or India would provide manufacturing and managerial capabilities, okay, for the vaccination drive. Then another significance that is regarding the establishment of working groups. Here, what happens? They have decided, they have discussed that how they are going to provide distribution, how they are going to provide vaccination to the people. So for that, what they are required, they require to form a working group who will work on that. So here, working group will not only work on the vaccination distribution, but they will also work on another platforms. And these are what? That is climate change. Climate change, we know that USA, India, and other Asian countries, or emerging countries, they are very much concerned. They are part of Paris climate meet. Again, COP26 is yet to happen. So they are part of that. SDG has been given to these countries, or the developing and developed countries of the world, third world countries. So if these targets are given, so here climate change becomes very important, such a platform, so that these quad countries, they can come up with such policy, they can come up with such targets to achieve. We are seeing, we have discussed, in fact, regarding Paris climate meet, where USA, it backed out under Trump reign. Then Joe Biden. So here they have they became USA became part of Paris climate meet, and here it is very much important to analyze how these countries are working towards that. So, but till now, we cannot see that countries are working well. Why? Because they have established, or they have targeted themselves for 2050, 2060, or net neutrality, or net neutral carbon by 2050, 60. So here it means miles to go to achieve these climate targets. So Quad has taken up this issue, that climate change issue or challenge has been discussed, and critical and emerging technologies, that has also been part of this discussion, where telecom and biotechnology is very much essential, nanotechnology is very much essential, so that they can provide such solution regarding health ailments. For example, anti-cancer treatments can be established, they can develop such kind of medication, such kind of health facilities, and new standards, innovation, and supply chain. That was also part of their discussion. Then here, joint research and development projects to establish becomes very, very essential. And these joint R&D, that may be in multiple forms, and for the multiple platforms. For example, biotechnology, as I've said, nanotechnology. So the application of these technologies can be seen in various fields. Okay, health sector, agriculture, then in fact, society as well. So for that, they will establish such platform frameworks. Okay, then all such things, that has to be worked by these countries, these four nations. Okay, so they had to establish some serious policy coordination. Then these policy should be let down or let out on the action mode, and such new capabilities needs to be created so that they can achieve those targets what they have set for themselves. Then careful choice of these themes that reflects a deep understanding between each other, so that long-term challenge can be taken up, long-term challenge in the form of China can be countered. Okay, and because it is having many global implications or many implications on the world, especially on the Asian politics. Okay, so these are some significance of this group. Another is what for these things, for these actions, what they are required. What as a group, it is okay that they have jointly, they have passed out some statements that they have to work on these many areas. One-on-one meeting and one. Yeah. So here, one-on-one meeting of these members are yet to happen. So after this 12th March summit, it was decided that personally they will meet with each other, and they have agreed to meet in person in the coming days. Okay, in maybe in some of the international platforms, or bilateral, or through bilateral summit or bilateral meetings. Foreign ministers, they will gather at least once a year. As I've said that before this Quad summit, formal summit, Quad members, they used to meet at the diplomatic platform, and those diplomatic platforms that had been taken care of by foreign ministers and the defense personnel. Okay, so it was to just have just to maintain this relationship, just to provide this connection between these members. So here as well, before this formal summit or the next summit, what they will do, they will establish this relationship. They will go continue with this relationship in the form of diplomatic discussions, and that will be through foreign ministries, okay, or other officials as well, relevant officials as well. So with this, what we can see that these working groups, they will come up with some common vision, and they will come up with some modalities on the cooperation. So these were some significance of this group. Now come on the criticism part. Okay, just a second. Now, so we discussed what was the relevance of this year's summit, what was the background of this Quad, how it formed, how it is going, what are the future commitments of these countries. Now, how India became part of it. Okay, or what is the India's engagement in Quad? So its engagement that goes back to the China's expansion. Okay, expansion in the Southeast Asian nation or in the Indian Ocean region, in the form of string of pearls, in the form of Belt and Road Initiative that I've discussed already. So it's Belt and Road Initiative, then providing logistics connectivity across Eurasia and Indian Ocean, that created a moment when India started thinking on it to provide an alternative. Okay, so that gave a moment so that they can come up with such platforms. So India responded on this with the upgradation of its naval capabilities, and this naval capabilities we have seen in the form of its presence in the Indian Ocean region, in the form of Malabar exercise, in the form of bilateral exercise. Okay, India and Australia, India and USA, India and Japan. So these are what? These are bilateral exercises. Malabar exercise. Okay. Then largely as it is, India had been depending on its navigation of Comcasa in the form of. Voice is not clear. Just a second. Is that clear now? Am I audible? Acha, ठीक. Yeah. So I was saying about its engagement. Okay. About its engagement. So India has shown its presence in the Indian Ocean region in the form of Malabar exercise, in the form of establishment of bilateral exercise between India and USA, India and Japan, India and Australia. So these many exercises we have seen, which has shown India's presence in the Indian Ocean littorals. Okay, so separately in India, sorry, with the some shared concerns that is related to the rise or exertion of China. Here, India has established or deepened its security ties with the USA. You must have seen many exercises India and USA conducts. For example, Yuddha Abhyas. Okay, so there are another exercises as well. I'm not remembering all such names. Then India and Australia recently they have concluded just agreement. They are. I hope I'm clear now. I'm so sorry for this network congestion. Maybe it is breaking. I have refreshed my network. So, building on such initiatives of earlier administrations, like under Obama and Trump regime, they focused on the interoperability of some defense equipments, then trainings based on some defense purchase, frequent land and sea exercises, agreements that harmonized the two countries' military doctrines and operations. Okay, so these things has been happened. Acha, whenever these countries are establishing exercises, what I'm saying, military exercises, it means what? It means it is not only to show off their military capabilities, but it is also to present or represent what capabilities these countries are having and how they are able and how they are going to exchange these. Okay, the potentialities, the capabilities, and the exchange of those capabilities. So these are the relevance of these exercises. Okay, so frequent we have seen some sea and land exercises that takes place, then agreements between these countries that also takes place, then military doctrines and operations between these countries. So here so this has given a background or platform for India to become part of this group together. Okay, then India being part of Quad. So USA is focused on West Pacific. That is because of aggressive Chinese military activity, and that has gradually pulled India to be under this ambit of Indo-Pacific, with the view of Western Pacific and Indian Ocean as an integrated geopolitical space. Okay, so because of that, India part of this Guys, I'm really sorry. I lost my connection and I was not able to reconnect it. So I'm really sorry for this inconvenience. I think I should resume my discussion. इसको resume कर दीजिए. So I was discussing about India, how it became being part of what it means in what responsibilities Am I clear now? Okay. I'm really very, very sorry. I am getting very severe issue of this network today. Yeah, sorry. So what happened? India's USA's focus was to counter China, and that led India to come under this ambit, okay, and become part of this Indo-Pacific exercise. So besides US Navy, India expanded its maritime ties with other regional states as well, with the most high profile of interactions being in the Quad membership. So since November 2017, some joint naval exercises of these members, these are being supplemented by extensive consultations on such security issues, and these are related majorly on the maritime security issues. Then India's involvement with Quad that was initially cautious because of its reluctance to join an overt anti-China coalition. Because what happens if such kind of relationship establishes? For example, in India, that is part of Indo-Ocean or Indian Ocean, and is part of Pacific Ocean. Okay, so in such a long distance, what must be some common issues on which they can justify such kind of collaborations? with the Quad that initially China coalition. Then at Shangri-La Dialogue of June 2013, our Prime Minister described Indo-Pacific as a geographical definition, and he formally denied it was a strategy or a club of limited members directed against any country. It means he denied being anti-China. Okay, our Prime Minister denied being anti-China at the Shangri-La Dialogue of 2018. Then in September 2019, India agreed to elevate this Quad platform to the ministerial level. Okay, पहले क्या था diplomatic relations. Now it means they will the premier of these countries, they will discuss, they will meet at the Quad level. So that was said in 2019. Then that was the dire consequence. By affiliating with the US-led maritime coalition, India ignored the principal areas of security concerns, as our formal NSA or National Security Advisor. He said that in India and Washington see eye to maritime strategy, but not on what to do on the Asian mainland. It means it has been said by a former NSA advisor that India and USA, they are looking towards, they are concerned for the maritime strategy, but they are not concerned toward the real concern. And what is the real concern? That is the security on the Asian mainland. It means if terrorism is the biggest problem, then terrorism on the mainland in multiple forms, whether in the form of cyber security, whether in the form of physical terrorism. So that is available in multiple forms. So here it is very important to work upon. Then India, that is the only Quad member that is not in the Western Pacific, and only one that shares an undemarcated 3,500 kilometers with China. Matlab, being part of this Quad group, India is the only member who is having shared boundary with China, and India is the member which is sharing multiple platforms with China as well. None other countries are sharing any of the demarcated boundaries with China. So here India need to understand, India need to analyze what India should do in such scenario, because we have seen India and China's standoff in the form of Doklam years back, in the form of Ladakh this year, 2020 and 2021. So standoff is not there, but at least dialogues are going on to resolve these issues. Resolution are being looking forward. But we cannot say that in the coming years, in the coming ages, such scenario would not get repeated. So here, because India and China, they are sharing a physical boundary. So India should understand, should analyze what actions are prior to take by India. From April 2020, India and Chinese forces, they had their latest border face-off in Ladakh region, and it abruptly ended a long period of productive relationship. It means it has hampered their productive relationship. Okay. So direct consequence had been seen in that form. Then it has also been criticized that Quad doesn't have a strategic vision. So in this retrospect, this confrontation that appears to be China's sharp response to the steady shift in India's regional posture in favor of an alignment with USA and its allies against China, and particularly the increasing interoperability with the respective states or the respective forces. So China has given India a rude reminder that India's security concerns that lies in the northern border, not in the maritime domain, or not in the Western Pacific. How China has done? China has done in the form of Ladakh face-off, in the form of Doklam face-off, in the form of upcoming face-offs. So China has this tendency to keep on reminding India कि हम तुम्हारे next neighbor है. So better to maintain a dignified, a good relationship. Okay. So US views China's rise as a threat to the world order. Why US is disturbed? Because of that. Because US has that tendency. US has US being the unipolar power or the unipower of the world. So here what USA is looking for towards, USA is analyzing this condition of China, that China is growing, China has been assertive, Chinese presence is there in many countries, West Asia, South America, Africa. So in that situation, what is happening? China is growing, and days are not so far that China would supersede USA. So USA has their own intention towards that there is some competitor against China, sorry, against USA in the form of China. Okay, and India and China, because of their tensed and what's a sweet and sour relationship at the same moment, and their tensions at this point of time. So this is the correct time what USA is thinking about, and that has been taken in the taken the momentum in the form of this Quad exercise. So US views China's rise as a threat to the world order, and it has led since Second World War, and is anxious to pull it allies to retard China's ambitions and maintain its global hegemony. Despite rhetoric relations in the promotion of rule-based world order, that is rule being most frequent violated by the US itself. Okay, if USA is saying that it wants to establish a rule-based world order, but it has seen that USA has violated that in the form of Syria, Iraq war. Okay, so lots of actions had been we have seen in the past done by USA. So Quad neither shares a strategic vision nor it is animated by a shared agenda. It means it has lost its relevance of a shared vision. If they want to counter China, why and how? That is the biggest question that need to be resolved. So this is obvious not only from its inability to deter China in West Pacific, but also by its members' anxiety to maintain close ties with China. Then it has also been criticized that there are some core structural problem in the Quad. Why? Because I have said that India is the only country among these Quad members, because Quad members, they have hidden intention that they want to counter China. But India is the only country among these members who is sharing physical boundary with China. None other countries are sharing physical boundaries with China. Okay, so in 2020, China became India's #1 trade partner. है ना? India and China, they became #1 trade partner with two-way trade at $77 billion. And against China, US trade continues to favor China America investors, had $1 trillion of Chinese equity, and 75% of US companies in China, they say that they will continue to invest here. Okay, then Quad has a structural problem, as well as in that it pivots around US. US is a superpower with global interest, but it is also self-centered in defining and pursuing its interest, as its policies experience major shifts because of government change or domestic lobbies. Because of government change, government in the during Trump era, during Obama, during now Joe Biden. So here, with the change in the government in USA, we are seeing their interests are also being changing, and domestic lobbies in the country. So here, these are reflecting in the form of this platform. So here, some structural problem are there. Then Quad riles China as a hostile grouping, but hardly serves the security interest of the members. If they are talking about security, they are talking about interoperability, how they are going to do that. So this problem is there in the Quad group. Then Alliance of India and policy changes that need to be looked upon. So standoff at Ladakh that had a bitter experience for India, that affirmed the limits of India-US security ties, folly of Indian involvement in the Quad, and need to focus national attention and resources in the areas that is abiding interest for India. That is the border issues, neighbors, Indian Ocean. So these are three things that India needs to take care of. Ladakh also offers some valuable lessons for India. Then rebuilding of ties with China will have to be priority concern. And though it will take time for trust to be restored, what will help will be for India to dilute its focus on the Indo-Pacific and Quad, and accept that the borders and Indian Ocean are where its crucial interests lie. So India need to understand the demand of the situation. So here it is suggesting that India need to focus on the northern borders, or on the physical borders. Okay. Secondly, Ladakh experience that has highlighted certain deficiencies at home. And it means there are some deficiencies regarding border management. Okay, that is why the Ladakh standoff and Galwan Valley attack has been seen. So Government appears to be largely focused on reshaping and national ethos on the basis of narrow and exclusive political ideology that has raised doubts about India's continued commitment to the democratic pluralism. So there are some internal problem in India. That is why it is showing in the form of its inefficiencies in the management of the borders. Then it hardly needs reiteration that India's capacities can only be built by a united people committed to the national causes. And finally, foreign policy cannot be part-time concern. It needs full effort, full time. Okay. And in terms of priority and attention, it should be on a par with domestic affairs. It means how domestically you are growing. That will reflect on your international policies. Okay. So while this approach just a moment. Sorry. So this approach that is being corrected, and that should also be noted that India's foreign policy that has often been ad hoc, reactive, and short term. It means because if India and China relationship that got disturbed, then India reformulated its policies against China. If India and China they are resolving such issues, then it again it is reframing its policies with China. So this has become India's foreign policy has become ad hoc. There is no long term vision, so that need to be rectified by India. Okay. And as a global scenario get more complex and India's ambitions increases, a cohesive strategic vision would give substance and drive to India's pursuit on its interest over the long term. So here, what is the picture? The picture is regarding India's policies towards China and regarding the Quad membership or regarding the Quad meeting. Okay, so a criticism in the form of criticism you can write. If India wants to counter China, then there is required to have a long-term strategic vision, not an ad hoc one. Okay. Another thing is that among those countries, among those members of the Quad group, India is the only country who is sharing borders with China. It means if it really wants to counter China at multiple platform, at multiple places, then it should have a very strong management of its borders wherever it is sharing with China, so that Ladakh kind of situations, Doklam kind of situations cannot emerge in future. Okay. So so that was all about this Quad. I hope it is a very long discussions we had taken on this. Multiple things we discussed: its significance, its relevance, its background, and its criticism. Okay. So any questions, any doubts, you can ask me here. Now, next question that is about UNESCO that has joined USO India for water conservation program. Ajay, any doubts in Quad now? You can ask me here. I hope I'm clear, I'm audible to you. So United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, that is UNESCO, that has joined USO India and Tunes Media Group over the water conservation awareness programs for the students. Okay. And for the water conservation program, students, they have created animation videos that will unveil on the occasion of World Water Day, that is um, I'm facing very severe network issues, so I'm going to take another half an hour class so that this kind of situation we can save. Okay, because I don't know why this network issue is there today, and I'm not able to resolve it. And this problem will be there continued. So I'm going to take another half an hour class, and I'll try to get it resolved as soon as possible. So I'm so sorry for this inconvenience. Okay, so I was discussing about UNESCO, which has joined USO India for water conservation program. So as UNESCO, that is what that is education, scientific, and cultural organization. So majorly it works or its functions, that is that we will see, that we can see on the education level or on the school level. Okay, so here this program has been initiated, and India, UNESCO has become part of it, and here they are running a program that is called H2O. Okay, that is a water conservation program for the school students. So some awareness would be created in the minds of students. So this program that has been organized in partnership with the National Mission for Clean Ganga, Water Digest magazine, United Schools Organization India, that is USO India, and Toons Media Group. So together, these all such organizations are been working on this. Then what is about this water wise program? So this water conservation program, which has been launched by UNESCO in September in New Delhi in September 2020 itself, and it was launched for school children, and it encourages school children in the age group or between the age group of 6 to 14 years to submit the story, ideas, and cartoons with respect of rising water crisis in India. It means a curative mind had to be created. So whatever they are seeing, they are analyzing in their surrounding, they have to create a story, they have to make a story, and this story would represent the ideas in the form of cartoons, okay, regarding rising water crisis. So program has been divided into 3 phases, and it aims to boost creativity and raise awareness on the water conservation and sustainable use among the school students. Okay, then for in the first phase, under the first phase of this mission, school held screenings of 24 animation videos in English and Hindi language. Okay, and these were created on different water issues for students of class 1st to 8th standard, and it was originally developed by UNESCO Venice. It's a center, and later on it was translated into Hindi by UNESCO New Delhi office. Okay, so that it can reach to each and every student in the form of language, okay, in the form of known language. Then in the second phase, it was implemented in last year December 2020, and during this phase, competition was initiated in the schools to pick up ideas. So first thing was the presentation. Second phase, that was about the competition, so that people can come up with the ideas for conservation of water. So here somewhere 2000 students in total, they participated in the qualifier round. Out of 93 students were selected, and they went, or they were sent for the training by Toons Media. Okay, and now third stage, that is yet to come. Okay. Now next article, that is about committees, 11 committees that has been set up to drive country to circular economy. Okay, so here the term is about circular economy. What is the meaning of circular economy? That you need to understand. And for this, 11 committees has been constituted. So government has set up 11 committees which will led by the concerned ministries, apart from officials from Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and Niti Ayog. Okay, so these committees, they will expedite the transition India from a linear to a circular economy across 11 focus areas. Then they will also prepare a comprehensive actions or action plans so that they can help in transitioning from linear to circular economy in the focused area, the 11 areas which they have listed. And these committees, they will also carry out the necessary modalities, which in turn will ensure the It means in any we know that agricultural waste is also having many potentialities to convert into energy or to convert into the usable form. So here, what is the voice is not there. अभी भी नहीं है या is it okay now? Am I audible now? Am I audible? Am I audible now? Is that clear? Okay. So here, this is about circular economy. Okay, 11 committees has been established for the circular economy. So what is the meaning of circular economy? Circular economy, it means elimination of waste and continual use of resources. Okay, so in many of the sectors, we can see that there are many waste that occur, that generates. For example, in electronics, in agriculture. So that waste can be utilized and eliminated with the help of elimination. So this system accounts for reuse, repair, refurbishment, remanufacturing, recycling, and sharing in order to create a closed loop system. Okay, so by this way, elimination of waste can be taken place, and it will also minimize the use of resource inputs, also minimize to create minimize the creation of pollution, waste, and carbon emission. And if India adopts this circular economy, then it will bring in the substantial annual benefits as well. It will also help in reduction and congestion of pollution. Congestion, and so it means circular. So 11 areas has been listed out, and in this area, these 11 areas, there is a vision to move from linear to circular economy. These areas are municipal solid waste and liquid waste, electronic waste, scrap metal, whether these are ferrous and non-ferrous, then solar panels, gypsum, lithium-ion batteries, agriculture waste, toxic hazardous industrial waste, used oil waste, tire and rubber recycling, and end-of-life vehicles. These are called ELVs. End-of-life vehicles are what? It means vehicles, they are having certain lifetime, for example, 15 years, 20 years. So after the end of their life, scrappage policy had been introduced by our road and transport minister. Okay, so after that, how this can be this waste can be minimized, and then waste can be eliminated. So that can be eliminated in the form of remanufacturing of. So sustainable growth, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, a development model for utilization of resources. The light of climate change, growing population, rapid urbanization, and environment pollution. So I was discussing what is the need of this change, or what is the need of moving from linear to circular economy. Just try to understand this. First thing is that pollution. So if these areas has been identified, for example, gypsum, lithium ion battery, electronic waste, scrap metal, then end of life vehicles, so these are having grave consequences on the environment. So recycling can be done, reusage can be done, okay, it can be reused, so that the environmental pollution can be curbed. We can fight against climate change. Then another thing is that if recycling method, if these will be recycled, the elimination would be taking place, then it will also create some employment opportunities. How? If this will be in the continuation, then obviously new employment opportunities would be created in the economy. Okay, employment opportunities would be created in the economy. So it is beneficial in multiple ways. It will provide environmental protection, it will provide urbanization. How? With the new employment opportunities, okay, it will provide new economic standards, it will improvise economic condition. Okay, so there are me. Okay, so government policies, these are actively they are formulating such policies so that they can promote this project, and this project is have potential to drive country towards circular economy. So they have notified several rules like plastic waste management system management rule, construction and demolition waste management rules, e-waste management rules, and metals recycling policies, etc. So government has also already taken many of the initiatives by their own. So Niti Aayog, it has undertaken such initiatives, and it has ensured economic growth, and it organizes an international conference on sustainable growth through national recycling. Okay, so initiative of government has also been taken by. Ajay, guys, I'm ending up this session here because network issue is very much severe today I'm facing. So I'll continue these topics in the next session, or I will resolve my network issue and I will continue this session in the coming days. Okay, maybe in the weekdays. So whenever I'll get chance, I'll try to take another session on this. I hope network issue I'm not able to continue and continuity is breaking down. So is there any problem in this? I'm waiting for a Yeah, so I was saying that because of this network issue and severe network issue, I'm ending up the session here. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I would continue with this session in the coming, after resolving this issue. Okay, resolving this network issue in the coming days. I will take up one session on the current affairs and continue with the left out topic. So I hope, is that okay? Okay, so I'm so sorry for this inconvenience. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. And I'm really sorry for this inconvenience. So have a nice day and yeah, have a nice day and study hard and have a very nice, very good weekend. Okay, sure. I'll do